Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are going to be crocheting this scarf. Okay, so two cool things about this scarf. The first thing is I'm going to teach you how to crochet it to the specifications in order for you to donate them to Operation Gratitude, which sends boxes to deployed soldiers, first responders. You can check out their website. I'm not even doing this with their knowledge. I just heard that they were in need of handmade items to put into their box from my friends over at lovecrafts.com. They mentioned they were going to help them out. So I thought, you know what? I've been meaning to do an absolute beginner crochet video for a scarf. I thought, why don't we just kill two birds with one stone? So this scarf is great for a beginner scarf, or if you want to donate it to Operation Gratitude. So all the Operation Gratitude details will be on my blog, so check out the link below for that. There are some sort of color preferences that they have and some additional details for you to follow if you're going to donate them. All right, let's jump into the tutorial. All right, let's start with our yarn. Usually comes out from the center of your skein, whether it's a roll up like this or a standard sort of skein of yarn. It'll come out from the middle. Like this kind of a ball of yarn, you can still pull it out from the center. What I want you to do is look at your label and choose the hook that it recommends. So this is a 5.5 or a size I or a 9. This one is a 5 or an H hook. So I recommend choosing that size or one larger. So if you don't have that exact one on hand, that's okay. Then we're going to start with a slip knot. Wrap it around your fingers, pull through a loop, insert your hook in that loop. You pull on that free end and it'll tighten it up. Okay, so for this pattern, we are doing the pattern to the specifications of Operation Gratitude. But if you are not interested in donating a scarf and you want to make one for yourself, this is an absolute beginner pattern as well. So according to the specifications, and as an absolute beginner, we are going to make the width of our scarf about 5 to 6 inches, okay? So this doesn't matter how many stitches you do as your foundation chain or what sort of yarn that you choose. This pattern doesn't matter. I did that on purpose so that all of my beginners out there, no matter if you're in the United States or in Australia, UK, or India, or where all of my viewers are, whatever yarn you can find or you have on hand will work for this project. So we need to do our foundation chain. Okay, so we're gonna yarn over, pull through, and don't pull too tightly. We're gonna let the hook do the work for us, okay? We're gonna do this until we reach 5 inches, and that foundation chain is a multiple of 2, so it's gotta be an even number. Okay, this yarn is a little bit light, so I put a darker background. That's why that purple just showed up. Okay, so let's keep going with our foundation chain. All right, so we are at about 5 inches. I'm going to just add a few more for our turning chain, and then we are ready to begin with our stitching. Okay, so I have 18 stitches, and I'm going to add 2 more, so that keeps us with a multiple of 2 or an even number, 19, 20. All right, so now what we need to do is do a single crochet, and if this is your first crochet project, that is great, but I want you to also check out my beginner crochet series, which takes you through learning how to do single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and then you make a washcloth so that you learn all of those stitches. So if you haven't done that, I would recommend it, but you don't have to. I will go slow enough to teach you that here as well. So when we're counting this, we don't count the loop on our hook as a chain. Okay, so we're gonna do 1 foundation chain, and in the second one from your hook, we're going to insert, we're going to yarn over, pull through. We've got 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Then we're going to chain 1. And make sure that chain 1 is not too tight. And I'll talk about that more in a minute, but we could run into some problems later on if that is too small or too tight. Okay, so now we're looking at this foundation chain, and we need to skip 1. So that chain 1 is kind of going to help us travel across, and we're going to insert again underneath these 2 strands. We're going to single crochet again. Yarn over, pull through. We have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through both loops. That's our single crochet. And then we are going to chain 1. Let's do that one more time. We're going to skip this foundation chain, insert our hook in the next one to place our single crochet. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, both loops. Chain 1. Now you're going to repeat that going all the way down. I will meet you there. Okay, here's how mine is looking. Now, if you did it correctly, I still have 2 more to go. I've got my single crochet here, and then I have 2 chains left, and that's what you want, okay? If you did not have that happen, that means you had the wrong number of foundation chains. So make sure you have an even number and that you inserted your hook in the second chain over, okay? So we have a single crochet, chain 1, going to skip the chain, and we're going to single crochet in the last one. We always want to make sure we're ending with a single crochet and beginning with a single crochet. That way we have a nice sturdy edge to our scarf. All right, so now what do? We ended with our single crochet. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to flip our work around. Now we're going to work from the back side. So what we do first is right here, this is our single crochet from the last row. We're going to insert right in the top. So we've inserted that hook underneath these 2 strands. Yarn over, pull through. We've got our 2 loops. Yarn over, 2 loops. Okay, so now on the edge, we want to always start and stop with a single crochet. And then as we're going back across, we need to make sure that we are doing a single crochet in that chain 1 space. So here's the chain 1 space from the previous row, and we need a single crochet in there. So I know we did a single crochet. We are not going to chain 1. We're just going to go ahead and do another single crochet right next to it. 2 loops, yarn over, pull through. So on some of our ends, we're going to have 2 single crochets next to each other. Okay, now we need to chain 1, and that will kind of go over the top of this single crochet, and then we are going to single crochet in the chain 1 space. Chain 1, single crochet in that chain 1 space. And it's a nice big kind of hole, so it's really easy to find. It's really easy to place your hook. You can get a nice groove going once you get the hang of it. So it makes it so that this works up really quick. Chain 1, insert your hook. So keep going all the way down. I'll meet you at the end to show you what that looks like. We just did our single crochet. Now we've got a single crochet here and then a single crochet here. Okay, so just in case that's hard to see, I did my chain 1. So we're going to insert here, single crochet. Now remember what I said, no matter what, we have to end with a single crochet. So sometimes that means we have 2 single crochets next to each other because we can't leave this one hanging out here, and we don't want it to be a chain 1. So if you look at the top of the stitch, you'll see kind of a V shape. That's where we want to place our hook. And we'll do a single crochet. Okay, we'll chain 1, and we're going to flip our work and go back the other way. Now again, remember, we always start with the single crochet. But now, because we have a single crochet here, we're going to chain 1. So in this row, we are not going to have 2 single crochets next to each other like in the previous row. We're going to have that chain 1 because on top of the single crochet is always a chain 1 because we need to then single crochet in this stitch over here. Okay? So we chained 1. So every other row will have those 2 single crochets next to each other on the ends. Chain 1, insert. I'm going to do this row a little faster. I'll show you what it looks like at the end. All right, so we did our single crochet, and remember this row had those 2 single crochets next to each other. We're going to chain 1 over the top of this single crochet, see? And then we need a single crochet at the end. Always a single crochet to finish out the row and to begin the row. Chain 1, turn your work, single crochet in that first stitch, and now we're back to that row that's going to have the 2 single crochets next to each other because after this single crochet we've got a chain 1 space, and that always needs a single crochet. Chain 1. So because we're always stitching in that chain 1 space, it creates this sort of alternating look. So here's what it looks like on the regular scarf that I finished already. You can see how nice those edges look when you're doing it. So hopefully this is how it's looking. But if this is your first project, your first bigger project, it's okay for it to look a little wonky. It probably will, and that is okay. All right, so what you're gonna do is continue in the exact same way. You're gonna chain 1, and so both those rows are on the video. So we did the 2 single crochets next to each other. We're gonna finish the row. Once we start the next one, we'll alternate. And you are going to continue really until you hit about 40 to 50 inches. That is the specifications for the Operation Gratitude scarves. Of course, if you would like to make it longer because this project is for you, you can make this wider or longer to suit your style and your needs. And again, as long as that foundation chain is a even number, you'll be good to go. So I am gonna keep crocheting and I will pop in when I'm a little bit further along. Okay, so here's how it should be looking. Now I want to show you a few things. If the bottom is larger as you're going up your scarf, like noticeably larger, it could be your tension. So as long as you're not dropping any stitches as you go, if you have the same amount of single crochets in each row, then it's your tension. And what happened was you were crocheting a lot looser down here and you're tightening up as you go. And that's something that happens a lot with beginners, so don't be too alarmed by it. Totally normal, but something to just sort of watch for. If you want to redo it, now is the time before you get too far along. The other thing I wanted to tell you is you always end and begin with a single crochet no matter what. And right on top of the single crochet is always a chain 1. And then you're alternating as you go. So, and then the third thing is whenever there's a chain 1, like here, you always place a single crochet in the chain 1 space. So if you remember those rules, then it's a lot easier as you go. You don't have to count or pay attention. You just can kind of get into a groove and go for it. So here's the scarf that I made. This is the full length, and this is measuring 50 inches. You can see that here. Again, this is the moss stitch, sometimes the linen stitch. I'm going to show you how to fasten it off. So you have this here like this, right? Now we're going to make a little bit of a tail. We're going to cut that off. Then what you do is yarn over and pull that through. Now we've got this tail, And what you want to do is use a yarn needle. They have metal ones like this or plastic ones, and we need to weave these in. So don't forget there's also one at the beginning of your scarf. And the idea is that we are going to go back and forth along that stitch and get the end secure. So we're going to weave, insert that needle. I kind of like to go back and forth a little bit until I feel secure. And you know, we want these to be washable. So make sure that end is in there nice and good, and then you'll trim it. Don't forget to do your other one, and then you are done making your first scarf, or just a really nice kind of drapey moss stitch crocheted absolute beginner scarf, or you know, you're gonna send this off to Operation Gratitude to add to their boxes. All right, what'd you guys think? Not too bad, right? You know, this is a self-striping yarn, so this is like a really great way to get a dynamic look without changing your colors. Same thing with this one. This is one of those kind of like roll-up ones. You can pick tons of different styles of yarn. Of course, you can check my blog post for all those different details, but you know, I have lots of viewers from all over the world, and I want to make sure that I'm putting content out there that can be used by anybody, no matter what kind of yarn they have access to. So whatever you've got, follow along with the tutorial and you can make a scarf with it. If you make some scarves and donate it to Operation Gratitude, will you tag me, especially on Instagram? I'm really active on Instagram. I'm on Facebook too. I would love to see and just give you a personal thank you for donating. So yeah, tag me on social media, and I would love to have some of you partner with me. So I'm gonna set a wild and crazy goal for, let's see, maybe by the end of August, can we send 500? Is that too much? Let's go for it, 500. Let's try to send 500 handmade items to Operation Gratitude, Melanie and her makers, sharing some love. Okay, so let's try to go for it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, all that good stuff.